Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. No, wait, what day is it? Hump day. Happy Wednesday. Pushing us ahead of the game here a little bit. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out last night to our Breathe Free event. It's just a great time. I'm not notifying everybody where it is we go anymore because we know that government agents and government employees, our employees, the people that work for us, are watching this because I leave it open. I leave it in public so that they can watch it because, they feel like they're getting some intel and insight into everything that we're doing. And I think that's kind of hilarious. But anyways, whatever. Let them watch all they want. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We need more fans. We need you guys to come over to our side of the right, the side of the righteousness. Morality, virtue, constitutionality, the way it's supposed to be. You guys were never, ever, ever, ever intended to be there to be weaponized against us. You were never, ever, ever intended. Good morning, Lisa. You were never, ever, ever intended to be there to, oppress and keep down and get as much money or to take away from us or to be as big as you are. You weren't. And guys, the thing is that you're not even that big. Like your government agencies aren't that big, comparatively speaking. Once we get these numbers together, which we will, we're going to tear everything apart. One step at a time. Legally and lawfully. And we're going to hold all of you guys, everybody, because you all took an oath of office. Every single government employee, every politician, every judge, every member of law enforcement, every inspector, every assessor, they all take an oath of office. And if they're operating within their office against what their constitutional oath is, they are subject to criminal prosecution and civil prosecution. So guys, you got a choice because what we're doing now, we've got the numbers already to be able to log each and every one of you. We're already building up a database. You think that by hiding your names, and hiding them on your website, the names and everything else, you think that you're protecting yourselves from the groups coming after you. Now, we're not coming after you illegally. We're not coming after you to attack you. We're coming after you because you've broken the law. We're coming after you because you have violated people's rights. You have stolen from them. You have extorted. You've acted using extortion as a means to operate within your office. Those are all crimes. Absolute, irrefutable crimes. Also, you have deprived people of their basic fundamental rights, whether it comes to the courts. My father said the other day, he came in, they wouldn't allow him in. Basic, fundamental, constitutionally, Bill of Rights, human rights that are guaranteed. You guys have deprived us of that. But you say, well, it's not me, it's the policy. It doesn't work that way. You guys are the ones that are doing it. All of you employees, all you health department employees, all you SLA employees. And now, guys, here's a great one. The health department, this is an SLA tactic. These criminals, this crime syndicate, and I'm going to use the word terrorist. I am going to use the word terrorist. Good morning, Luke. I got your message yesterday. I'll get back to you today. It was kind of a really busy evening. And I fell asleep at 9 or 9:15, which usually doesn't happen. I usually stay up till about midnight, but I was watching the rally. I was all snugged up to President Trump, and his voice was a little lullaby. A little lullaby in my ear put me out. Next thing you know, I woke up. I'm like, what time is it? 1:45 a.m. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I better turn the light off. That trick didn't work. Using the light on, keeping the light on to do that. But, getting back to these government agents, you guys, your jobs were never intended to go against the people. And the SLA, their tactics, and they, look, SLA, they're a group of domestic terrorists that they're a gang. They're not even a gang, they're a mob. They're outright mob, criminal syndicate. No less worse than, MS-13 or, Russians. They're horrible. They have gone around, they've set people up. And that's not, you're not supposed to be able to do that. I forget what the term is, the legal term, entrapment. You can't entrap people. But because the SLA says we operate outside, and so many other agencies operate outside the guise of what the Constitution is, they're like, this is our department. It doesn't apply to us. It's not true. It's just absolutely not true. But because we allow it, good morning, Kevin. Good to see you, brother. Good morning, Cody. Yes. Oh, Cody, it's going to snow on Friday. That sucks. But these guys are operating outside the parameters of the law, outside the Constitution. And they set up sting operations that are entrapment. Every single one of those things are illegal. And every member of the SLA in this county and anywhere else that are operating, utilizing those tactics, they need to be arrested. They need to be put in jail. And then civilly, we need to go after and attack them. The agency. All the policies have to change. So what's happening now, the health department, because they partnered up with the SLA and this gang, along with the New York State Tax Department, the gang, state troopers, local law enforcement, the mob, they're extorting money from everybody, domestic terror, and now they're setting up sting operations for local businesses with the masks. It's not enough that you shut them down, and these people feel justified, like they've never once done an ounce of research. Because if you did do an ounce of research, you would see instantly that masks don't work. Everybody says go against them, that your policies haven't worked, that large businesses are open and have been open, but you want to keep churches closed, you want to keep small businesses closed. Like, think for yourselves. And we're all documenting you guys. We know who you guys are. We're keeping the list. And ultimately, we're coming after you for your jobs. We will. And you will be subject to public scrutiny. Because we're going to expose everything that you have done with your office. Everything. How you have used your office as the justification to weaponize yourself against small businesses and business owners and their families and our community. It's not right. And, we've had this plan. It's been building, and now we got the numbers to execute it. When that will be, I don't know. We've got a lot going on, and then it's the holidays, so, we're hoping that everything is going to everybody will be able to relax and breathe, right? So, it's just the way these government agencies operate, it's disgusting. It's deplorable. It's unforgivable. Like I said yesterday, egregious. It's criminal. I must sound like Johnny Cochran here, using all these adjectives, right? I gotta start using some of the messed up ones, like Damon Wayans used to do on In Living Color. He had the container with the pickle and it was supposed to. Oh my God, I missed that show. I got to see Damon Wayans once here. I couldn't believe it at Helium Comedy Club. Yeah, go to comedy club anymore, right? Good luck with that. But anyways, it's just wrong what these people are doing. They're watching. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they're doing is illegal. They also know what they're doing is against their oaths of office. So our Breathe Free New York event last night went great. And the owner of the location was so grateful. His waitresses, I'm not mentioning any names because I'm not going to incriminate anybody, because we know that, this is why I got on that tangent there about these government officials watching my page. But the cook, the waitresses, the owner of the place, they couldn't have been more accommodating. They were incredible. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Meg. They were just so accommodating. And we had about 40 people in the place. And it was so warm. The decor was great. The food was amazing. But they had it running, and I've said this before. When you go to a restaurant and you just get that person, that's that waitress that shouldn't be. Oh, I know it. It's crazy, brother. I know it. It's insane. So, when you go to a restaurant and you see that waitress or the cooks and the chefs, they just don't get it, and they're like running around frantic, and it just makes the whole dining experience just not worth it. You're like, I should have just stayed home. They should have had a frozen pizza, some spaghetti and garlic bread, whatever. And but when you go to a place that, good morning, Diana, how you doing, hon? So when you tell Hope I said hi, tell her to be a good student today. Tell her we need her. We need her for the fight. But you go someplace where everybody has it together and they're buttoned up and they just kind of float effortlessly. You don't even realize that they're there. They're doing their job. They're taking the food. They got the orders. And they had like 20 different checks or, 30 different checks. They didn't care. They got the names down. They knew everything about everything. Just running like just a finely tuned F1 car. Finely tuned Lewis Hamilton car, man. 92 wins for Lewis Hamilton, man. That's amazing. That dude is crazy good. What a combination. Anyways, I'm digressing in all different kinds of directions. Stay focused. So, good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Lori. They just hummed. Didn't even notice that they were there. So thank you so much to that location. And we're putting together shirts instead of plaques. Heather had an idea to give everybody a plaque. And then Desiree said, hey, why don't we give everybody a shirt? And we're like, yeah, let's do shirts. That's a great idea. So the owner of the place, being, a veteran, and his son being active currently, we're like, absolutely, the shirt is a great idea. And what do you call it? Heather and Desiree, they had a great idea for it. Proud, veteran, and then prouder dad of an active member in the back. So I love that idea. We've got several other locations that we're working on. And this is so thank you so much to that location, the owner, the waitresses, and the chef last night. It was just, good morning, Nate. Great to see you, brother. We are so appreciative of them and everything that they did. And, we, again, 40 people, a lot of the same faces, but so many new faces as well. And Heather is great because she's taken down the names of everybody that's there, writing them down, documenting, getting them on the text list. And she's doing a great job. So this Monday's location, we're not doing it on Tuesday next week for obvious reasons. We're doing it on Monday. And, this is what I wanted to mention. Heather said that a couple of the locations that we had canceled. One was because, I can't remember exactly what the reason, but the second one said that and third location that she spoke to, and once she was finally able to validate a name, and this is what the health department is doing. That's what these criminals are doing. They're setting up stings. Good morning, Raj. They thought that we were operating as a sting operation to set them up, so that they could be, fined or shut down or cited. How sad is that? That's what government has done to people. And that's not just now, guys. Like, that's what government has done to people for a very, very long time. If you don't toe the line, SLA is going to come out there and they're going to use any reason that they can to shut a business down. Health department, same thing. They're going to shut you down. Inspector's office, same thing. They're going to shut you down. Assessor's office, they're going to increase your taxes. Local law enforcement, they're going to come up with some asinine law that they say you're breaking, and they'll come out there. Or you'll have town council people organizing against you with local media to say what a horrible establishment you are and smear you. It's just not right. It's outright wrong. So the fact that somebody has to feel like they're at risk because we're trying to do something nice for them, how sad is that? Like, really, really, how sad is that? Guys, freenys.com, Diana, we have John and George and Marie and Greg. I'm trying not to give last names anymore because these people are they're out of their minds. They're so deranged and delusional and out of touch with reality right now. Like, they're seriously mentally ill. It's beyond that. It's just completely unhinged, where these people think they're doing the right thing by attacking and coming after people like us. But I'm a part of a group called freenys.com. And I was honored and blessed to join that group. And Diana had her page on Facebook, which was called Free NYS. And we just happened to meet organically, which was awesome. And we were all talking about, we got to meet this person who did Free NYS, and then we didn't. We're all coming together. And Diana has been instrumental in helping and contributing to the group with FreeNYS.com. And on FreeNYS.com, guys, go to that page. You don't have to join the page. You can use the tools and the resources in it. But they have all of New York State's congressional districts, legislative districts, everybody that's running. I believe that information is there. But also at Rally WNY, we have most of the events that we have that are rallies or protests, parades, things like that. But we're worried about being shut down just like everybody else. Marching Patriots were shut down twice just with the name, just by virtue of having the name. Then Mike and Desiree's, their personal pages were shut down. Well, they can't shut down FreeNYS.com. So if you're not a member of that yet, make sure you get over to FreeNYS.com. And the reason it's so great is because the content that we're committed to putting into that page is for everybody. Medical freedom. If you're a business owner, you can share this information with everybody. But FreeNYS.com, it's going to have medical freedom, Second Amendment rights, religious freedoms, of course, congressional and voting and election information that we have, and then these some of the laws that are these cases that are heard. We're going to have those there as well. So thank you for pointing that out, Diana. I appreciate you and all your efforts. Jen, good morning. So that being said, Monday we're going to have an event. Oh, guys, Friday, this Friday is going to be Dave DiPietro on Olean. I guess it's the old Sparkle Cleaners on Olean in East Aurora. He is going to have a couple of fundraisers for himself. It's for a birthday. And if you guys don't know about Dave DiPietro, research him. Amazing fighter, warrior, patriot, freedom fighter. And he's been fighting for a long time, standing on an island. Great man. I've met him. Teresa, his wife, is amazing, beautiful woman. And he's having two fundraisers this Friday. I'm going to the 7:30 one. It's 7:30 till 9. Food and refreshments are there. And I want to say it's like $60. And they'll have some other thing. Oh, because it's his 60th birthday. So it's $60 to get in. And then 5:30 till 7 is the first one. 7:30 till 9 is the second one. If you guys can make that, please do that. Put it in your calendar today. Share it with everybody, guys. Like really, one of the best pieces of advice that I have is don't let this stuff sit. When it's on your plate, just do it and get it off your plate. Send this message out to everybody you know. Post it on your Facebook page. I posted it on my Facebook page yesterday, so feel free to share that, copy and paste it, screenshot it, whatever you got to do. But let's help Dave out. He needs it. The Democrats, their coffers are huge, and they've invested like $500,000 against these local candidates. And I've talked to you guys about that, and I don't really want to get into that right now, because I have a bunch of other things I want to talk about. But, get there, please. I'll be there at 7:30. Saturday, oh my God. So Saturday, there are two rolling parades. One is meeting at 9 o'clock at Summit Park Mall. If you know where that is, it's up in Niagara Falls. It's an abandoned mall. It's been abandoned forever. It sucks, but Shred Dragon used to do their cruise nights there, if you can believe that, how long ago that was. But at 9 o'clock, they're going to start meeting. Estimates are right now they have about 47 vehicles, 100 people. They would love to have you guys. They would love to have you guys there. Edge of the Falls podcast, I believe they're responsible for putting this one together. And they do have a route that they're going to be doing. They're going to roll out of Summit Park Mall at 10 o'clock. I've been invited out there. I'm going to go out there at 9 o'clock. Kristen Wolter was instrumental in that. Thank you, Kristen. I really appreciate it. But Kristen, she just has so many contacts. Like Kristen, just like Diana. Diana's amazing, and she does everything that she does. Kristen, guys, amazing. Like Heather Lorenzo, amazing. Marie Rock and Eric Jones and all the teams that were meeting, Michael Bray, Mike and Desiree, and Briella, anyways, they're all his daughters' name. I always forget her name. But anyways, all of these people, great people, amazing people that, we lean on and we give one another support. But Kristen is filling that role for me that, she is really like my right-hand person. And she's like, Pete, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. We talk once a day, and she's there, and every time I need it, it's just awesome, and it's just so great. And there's so many other people that are there, for me as well, and for all of us. But it's just been great. So Kristen contacted me yesterday and said, hey, this is what's happening. And then she got me an interview with Brett on the Edge of the Falls podcast. You guys should check that out. They've done some incredible videos about Antifa. It's really, really fun seeing what those guys are doing. And again, our network just building out, the group just building and building and building. 3 parades again this Saturday. So that one's at 9 o'clock. Meet at Summit Park Mall. Bring food and refreshments. I guess it's going to be cold or possibly snowing, but just dress appropriately and accordingly. And then they're going to roll out at 10. I'm not going to be able to stay the entire time. I'm sorry. I have football games 10:30 and 11:30, and I'll do that. And then Rolling Patriots guys, Rolling Patriots, John and Scott's group, and all those guys, they're going to be out. They're meeting on Transit Road at the Dugout. So guys, tell everybody about both events. Share this on your Facebook pages. Email everybody or message everybody. Send it and let them know when these events are. Good morning, Dennis. But they're meeting on Transit Road, the Dugout. It's, if you go, like I said, 990 to Millersport to Transit. You make a left on Transit heading towards Lockport, and it'll be on your left-hand side. There's a brand new hotel there, and you can't miss it. You won't be able to miss the vehicles. They're starting to meet at 11 o'clock, and then they're rolling out at noon, and then they're going to have their route. And guys, I would love to see their numbers double, triple, quadruple, go 10 times, because when you see these guys rolling down just with 15 and 20 vehicles, it just does your heart so good. It really does. It's just amazing. And I'm honored to be a part of what those guys are doing. And, to be able to roll with them it's just so uplifting. It really does good for the soul and the spirit. So that's them. And then 3:15, the big one, where everybody is going to come back together, is in East Aurora. Now that is I'm going to talk about it again, but that is our Marching Patriots parade. We're going to meet at Parkdale School. We can't go on Parkdale property, even though we own it. We can't go on Parkdale property because they say it's trespassing. It's not trespassing, guys. Again, weaponizing the laws and creating your own laws. It's not trespassing. We own it. So we got to park on the street, but it's going to be at Parkdale. It's going to be a big Halloween one. Dress up in superhero costumes. We're going to have the Rolling Patriots with us. We're going to have plenty of candy out there. So get that candy out there. So, if you guys can bring some bags of candy, that'll be great. Our route will be, we'll walk like we always do along, the, Main Street, up to Main Street and then back. And if you can't walk the whole way, stand on the sides, and you can throw candy out to the kids, or even ride with somebody and throw candy out. East Aurora PD is usually very accommodating in allowing us to do that stuff. So we're really looking for that one to be a good one. I'm going to share more information on that as the week goes. So that covers events. I wanted to talk about Amy Coney Barrett, and just thanking the Trump administration and everybody else. I mean, this woman is just amazing. It was a home run. There was literally no way she wasn't going to get nominated. And for any of those criminals that were there, it just scum, that they would try to trash her. Like, how can you possibly trash this woman? And then you see these leftists, these triggered leftist Marxists that just are completely out of their minds on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, screaming and hollering and yelling about, oh my God, this is the worst decision ever, the country's going down. It just out of touch, completely out of touch, completely uninformed, these people. They just believe the narrative, whatever is spit out in front of them in their leftist circles. Like I said, guys, I don't want to include Democrats and liberals, in this. It's leftists, okay? Because a lot of them, and I think a lot of us should try to change the way we talk about this. if you can, because the Democrats and liberals, they're also fed up, guys. They may have a little bit of a political ideology difference, other than what we've got going on, but oh, you're welcome, Lisa. I absolutely. And you guys share that. This is how we grow. This is what I was talking about yesterday. When we share this information with one another, good morning, April. When we share this information with one another, we grow and our numbers grow. And then the events grow and become more impactful. And that's the whole point. Getting people in there, make them feel good for sure. That is number one priority, making them feel like they belong and have something to belong to. And I'll tell you just really briefly before I get back to Justice Amy Coney Barrett, and congratulations to her. I had a friend of mine, her name's Maria, and she came out last night to our Breathe Free event. And she's been asking Pete, I want to be involved, I want to be involved, I want to be involved. So she started coming out, and she saw the group of people that were there yesterday. And she got to know so many, talking to so many different people. And Maria isn't unlike anybody else that we see in our neighborhoods, our friends in our lives, on our Facebook page. She, had no idea that these groups were out there. Good morning, Bubs. Great to see you, buddy. It's been a minute. We got to get together. But there's so many people like that are out there that don't know these groups exist. They literally sit there and they think, man, is nobody standing up? Is nobody coming together to fight this? And Maria and I met, and she let me know that she knew the woman Ann out in Batavia. She came out to that march. She was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She wants to go to every march now. And she didn't know anything about any of this stuff up until probably a couple of weeks ago. Then she went to a Breathe Free event. She's like, I want to go to those. How can I help? And then I put her in contact with Gay Thompson. She'll be there this weekend at the march in East Aurora. And there are so many other Marias out there, like Jackie and Mark Walker. The same thing. That same story applies there. And that same story applied to me 6 months ago when Cody introduced me to Restore Constitutional Freedom of New York, and Autumn Thompson and Taylor Zablonsky and Erica Case. And I got to meet all of these amazing, wonderful people. And Maria goes, she's like, she goes, it's unlike anything I've ever seen and been a part of, because everybody's so nice. Like, everybody's just so giving and gracious. And they just talk. And there's no presumptions. And you just get to be yourself. And everybody's so welcoming and warm. Especially Nick with his sweaters. He was keeping warm last night, a little bit too warm in front of the fake furnace. But people are told there's no more good people left. There's no more good people left. And you feel like you got to be a part of a church. And a lot of us are religious. And a lot of us do go to churches. But not all of us do. And that's not what it's about. It's just about being a part of a family. Being there together for one another in every way that we can, in any way that we can. And the most beautiful thing that I see, good morning, Kim, the most beautiful thing that I see when I'm out there are when people who never knew one another, they come together and they start to talk, and you see that fire. And then all of a sudden you start seeing them at other events, and then they're doing things on their own. Like, that's a friendship and a bond that's created through this. And that has happened countless times. So, it's just great. So, Amy Coney Barrett, congratulations to her. This country is going to be way better off. It's in great hands, with Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett all being appointed. Now I think the court is 6-3. Not that, it's not supposed to be conservative, but at least they're constitutionalists. At least they're originalists. At least they're operating under the guise of what... I appreciate that, Cody. Thank you very much. I love you, brother. But we needed to get back to that. The Supreme Court was never meant to be a political arm, a legislative arm. It rules on constitutionality and how things are supposed to operate and how they're not supposed to operate. And then it's supposed to be adhered to by the states. And what's happening now, it's just not. We see this in Whitmer's state, Michigan. She was told by her Supreme Court that she had to open up in 21 days. Here we are 21 days later or close to it, still not open. Still keeping everybody on lockdowns. They don't even listen to it. She is a criminal. And by rights, right now, she is committing treason against all of her people. And she's already committed murder for all the people that she's murdered. I saw the list, the governors. It was New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, California, and New York. 5 governors, those leftist Marxists that are responsible for most of the deaths. Most of the over 200,000 deaths that we have. And oddly enough, nobody has died from the flu or pneumonia this year. Nobody at all. That's not weird at all. So, but those 5 states, they had the highest death rates, the highest death totals, oddly, right? And the highest testing and spikes and everything that fits the leftist Marxist agenda and narrative, they fit, right? They all fall right in line. So Governor Whitmer, she should be out. The sheriff should be acting against her. She is going against the Constitution, has the entire time, her own state's Constitution. She has exceeded her rights and what she's able to do. And now her own Supreme Court, she's violated the ruling that came down. But people don't think about that. The media never talks about it. Nobody says anything. Good morning, Joe. Won't say your name, buddy. I miss you. So it's just horrible, but that's the way Supreme Court's supposed to work. And hopefully now that we have 6 originalists on it, good morning, Matt, that this is the way it's going to operate. So thanks to her and everything that she did, the great life that she's lived, and Trump having her. She almost went in place of Gorsuch and then Kavanaugh, but I believe that, Trump knew that those would be bigger fights and that he was keeping Amy Coney Barrett in the back pocket going, look at man, this is home run. Ain't nobody can go against this woman. This woman has 7 kids, 2 adopted, has done all these other things, highly regarded at Notre Dame. And good morning, Kim. And it's like, who's going to go against her? All of her students love her. Democrat, from the far left to the far right, everybody loves her. He knew it was a home run, so he kept that in his back pocket just in case when he needed it. And it worked out. The timing worked out perfect. So Trump yesterday, he was in 3 different states yesterday, singing me a lullaby right before I went out to Breathe Free New York. I'm like, I watched him in the morning, and where was he in the morning? Michigan. He was in Michigan in the morning, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then where he ended up, I think in Nebraska last night, or I can't remember where he was last night. I think it was Nebraska, but he was in Wisconsin yesterday too. So 3 states. I was like, man, and he goes. And he's just so, the energy that guy has, and the way that guy's mind works, whether you like the guy or hate the guy, you're going to 3 states like that. The guy is buttoned up. The guy knows what he's doing. His team is incredible. And, you see the support. And then you go see Biden. Biden's still holed up, looking at criminal indictments for everything that he should be criminally indicted at this point for what he did in stealing from all of us, Russia, China, how he assisted his family, his son, his friends in obtaining these contracts, and how many other criminal acts has Biden committed over his tenure. And no media coverage, 0 media coverage. In fact, Facebook, Google, YouTube are all burying it. So when Epstein, who was the Harvard economist 4 years ago, said that social media and Google search engine platforms gave Hillary Clinton 12 to 25 million votes. That's election tampering. That's election fraud. Not to mention you're violating people's civil rights to freedom of speech. You don't just get to arbitrarily, say this is our policy and you violated our policy and, code of ethics or conduct or whatever the hell they're always saying, that prompt that comes up, community standards. And you don't get to just arbitrarily enforce that and not be held accountable. But these platforms are operating as publishers, and then they are subject to lawsuits. And I think that Trump is going to really take them down after this. But this election cycle is worse than it was last time. And Epstein, that Harvard economist, said that it was going to be about, he estimated, I thought it was like 40 million or 25 to 40 million votes that were going to be influenced over to the Democrats. And this guy, he's like, look, I'm a liberal. He goes, he's like, I've been a liberal, a strong liberal forever. And he says, this is wrong. He says our entire election process has been corrupted and tainted. And he said there are laws that are being violated and nobody's enforcing those laws. And Google and YouTube and all these people that are in these offices, that are occupying these offices, they need to go. And they all need to be criminally charged. It all the way down to that, that programmer that's, the algorithms and making a decision on to get rid of somebody's account for no reason at all, other than the fact that they disagree with that individual and they see the effect that they're having on them. So the fact checkers, these businesses, that you can't go after Facebook and Google, but you can go after the fact checkers, guys. Figure out who they are and go after them. And we need to everybody needs to call the FCC, FTC, emails in this state so that they can start building this case. Don't sit there and say, no, somebody else is going to do it. If your account was blocked, if it was tore down, you need to notify the FCC and FTC and take a look into getting legal remedy. Speak to a lawyer about it. So they're affecting a lot of votes, and they've been doing that for years now, right? Using Snopes as the justification. And this is the best part. Things that Biden has actually done, said on video, on camera, repeatedly. You'll now have on YouTube and Facebook, fact checker come up and say that this is mostly untrue or this is categorically false. The guy said it. And then the things that Biden is saying, the outright lies that he has communicated, they're not tearing his stuff down or shutting him down or silencing it. They're not even putting a prompt up there that says mostly false. There's a couple of them that are just so outrageous. You can't deny the fact that they're a lie, that they're like, okay, well, this one may be a lie, may not be consistent. It's just sick. And, everybody's like, how do we get that back, guys? You got to move the ball. It's so far left with those people, with the Democrats that have occupied those positions. They're all their buddies. All their good buddies are in those positions. Just like in every single authority here in this state, it's all about getting people positions. And all their Democrat buddies and I should say leftist buddies, not Democrats, but their leftist buddies that have worked on leftist campaigns and done whatever, been in occupied leftist positions, and in leftist administrations, they then get these jobs, these high up jobs that are making decisions that are affecting all of us in our country. But I got to thank Trump for everything that he is doing, everything that he has done for this country in the past 4 years. And if anybody looks at, and you see so many people say, #walk away, when people actually look into the guy's record and what he has accomplished, they're like, oh my God. Good morning, Julius. How you doing, brother? Good morning, Sean. Sean O. When you look at the guy's record and what he has done and accomplished, you're like, I can't believe it. So you have Asian Americans now looking at Trump saying, guys, this is what he's actually done. Don't listen to the media. Good morning, Scott. You have Hispanics that are looking at everything and going, no, man, we love this guy. What he has done for our communities and our neighborhoods, we love it. The black community taking a look, and all these leaders that are affecting all this younger generation of blacks that are coming up and saying, black Americans that are saying, oh my God, yeah, what a bunch of lies. Oprah loved the guy before. He was getting awards from Jesse Jackson before. Why did that all change? All of a sudden we hate the guy. We're told to hate him. Rappers are rapping about him, but we're supposed to hate this guy. It's just absolutely ridiculous what they are doing to people and how they've programmed them to hate. when they loved him forever, and then he runs for office and he becomes president and he does so many great things for everybody, but we're all supposed to hate him. But you're seeing this movement, this groundswell that's coming up that is just unbelievable. And in all of these different communities, all of these ethnicities, all the colors, all the, race, if you want to say that, religious and creeds, all these people are going, man, this guy really is pretty awesome. You mean he's nominated for 2 Nobel Peace Prize awards, like 3 now? He's brought peace to here and here and here in this region and this region and this region. Like, it's absolutely incredible what this guy has accomplished. I don't agree with everything that the guy has done. I don't. But is he the best person at this point in time for that position? Without a doubt. So, thank you to everything. And 3 rallies, and the guy's not going to stop. Like, you just know he's not going to stop. A lot of people have been voting early. And what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from people is that it's in record turnout. It's in record numbers. They've never seen this type of voting coming in. And I think that what's happening is you're seeing so many of these people come out and vote because they want their vote to be recorded. I think they're also worried about the weather. That can be a factor. But I also think that they're a little bit worried about what is Antifa going to do? What are they going to be out there? And, so-called Black Lives Matter and terrorist organizations like the Western New York Liberation Collective and Surge and local One Society, but also One Societies all over our country that operate to undermine. They operate to have chaos. That's how they operate. They operate as terrorist organizations. They're worried what's going to happen on election day. So you're seeing record turnouts for these elections or for early voting. And, I was really unfamiliar with early voting too. I knew that as a part of the military, you could do that, or if you were a senior, you could do that. But I didn't realize it was open to everyone, which is great. So thank you to all the, the Board of Elections officials that are doing that, facilitating that. I'm sure they're overwhelmed. But I think that people are just like, we want our vote to be counted. We do not want Biden and Kamala Harris out there, because Biden and Kamala Harris are actually the actual racists. Like, they literally are the actual racists. Their policies, the things that they have said, the things that they have done, the way that they have voted, the programs that they've created, how they have tore apart the small family, and how they have benefited themselves. Like, Biden's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars. How does that happen as being a senator for 47 years? Unless you're taking the handouts. Then they see all of his criminal conduct and how he's benefited himself, how he's overlooked, just the lies, the outright lies. And Kamala Harris, it's the same thing. All the lies. One lie after another. And we're not talking small lies, guys, like the Pinocchios, like, oh, he said it was nice out today, but it was actually cloudy, and 50 and not, sunny and 60, which is literally some of the things that they use to say Trump's a liar. The big things, the very big things that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden lie about, have lied about, continue to lie about. I didn't know about Hunter Biden and everything that he was doing. Oh, stop. Give me a break. You didn't know. It's all documented. It's chronicled. We have military officials. We have law enforcement officials. We have heads of other states saying it. And where's the media? Nowhere. And the media is one of the biggest things that Trump needs to take down after everything comes back. And what it needs to be is it needs to be a free press. That's how you get it. And monetizing it the way that they have, and dramatizing it and sensationalizing it for their own political ends and needs, that needs to stop. In each and every one of these media agencies, they need to own one. That's it. That's how it used to be. But now they were not, several years ago, they were able to have several of them. One, you get one. There needs to be thousands, tens of thousands of individual media outlet owners. That's what it needs to be. And then there needs to be oversight on them so that they are operating the way that they should be, truthfully and honestly, not as editorialists. So, that early voting, it's showing that the numbers are going up. Like, it's showing that Trump is doing a great job, but don't let that Don't let that deter you guys from going out and voting, all right? We all got to get out there and we all got to vote. I wanted to read this to you guys. I had this sent to me from Kim. Let's see if I can get into it quick here. So, and whether this was true or not, I have no idea. You know, there's all these things that go around. But it says Biden campaign anon here. And it says 1025. It says, we're all putting on our best faces, but we know the truth. Biden is not going to win. Kamala was a wildly unpopular pick, and the rumors are true that the DNC never wanted to nominate old Joe. He was set up to be the straw man one of the younger heirs were supposed to easily knock down leading up to their Iowa primaries. Anyways, the Hunter leak is what is known as a Sampson option. It's their way of conceding the election because we aren't going to be able to match in ballot fraud. Ballot fraud and, election tampering through social media, and that's the only way they're getting votes. The only way the other side is getting the votes, because Democrats, liberals, everybody's voting for Trump. You think anybody wants chaos? You think they want a situation that Cuomo has created or de Blasio created, not arresting anybody from Antifa, but arresting a 25-year-old mother of two who was just doing her job? Like, they criminalized her for trying to escape. You got to get into that, Joanna. Makes me sick to my stomach, what happened there. I lost it. Pulling it back up here. Sorry, guys. So, Sampson option, it says, it's the DNC's final effort to taint the election. So this is a tactic that they use. So they're saying that the Democrats themselves released the Hunter leak as the Sampson option because they knew that they weren't going to win. So now they get to, with all the media that they own, come on out and say that it was the Republicans that did this. And it said the DN to taint the election results, pointing to this unscrupulous leak as the reason Biden lost after November. They'll use it to undermine everything the second-term administration does. Now, whether this is true or factual or whatever the deal is, who knows? But it stands to reason. Absolutely stands to reason. We're all putting our best faces up. Oh, my phone's not working. So there's a second page here, but it's not pulling up. Okay, that was actually the last page. This is the first page. It says, nobody is talking about it, but the look on everyone's faces says it's all. This campaign is over. I feel ashamed to have campaigned for Joe, and I'm not the only one who feels this way. Several campaign workers and volunteers have quit showing up over the last few days. It's basically like a ghost town here. Well, that's not a shock. We see the turnouts for their rallies that they have. Nobody's showing up. Even Obama, nobody showed up. Somebody said they think there was like 300 people that showed up for Obama. After I make this post, I'm leaving too and never coming back here. Joe is corrupt and his family has serious issues. There's no way Joe is going to win this election. We have made so many phone calls and knocked on so many doors. Many people basically tell us to F right off. But most of them will listen for a few seconds and then tell us they're not interested. But the way we say it, you just know they would never consider, the way they say it, they would never consider voting for Joe. There is something really strange about all of that. I've campaigned for over 10 years, and this year is so much different with the way people are responding to us. Anyway, I thought you guys might like to hear it from the horse's mouth. Helping a little bit to expose all of these lies is the least I can do before I leave this campaign behind. Now, I don't know if that's legit. I don't know if it's illegitimate. But the reality is that that's the reality. Who could possibly vote for Joe? And you're hearing these people that did early voting, They're like, I want to change my vote. I want to change my vote. How could you have voted for Biden to begin with? Like, how is that even in the realm of possibility? Knowing everything that you know, knowing everything that he has done to women, to children, to the poor, to every ethnicity out there, supporting somebody from KKK, going to their funeral, a head Klansman. All the things that guy has done over the years. You're not black if you don't vote for Biden. Like, it's almost like a joke. Like, they seriously were doing and saying all those things. Just to, it was like, okay, we know Trump's got this, but we're just gonna see how committed the leftists stay to Joe Biden. Like, how many people are just everything that they said about Trump that wasn't true, we're gonna actually do, and Biden has done. We can show that they've done it. But Google and all of our buddies at Facebook and YouTube are going to bury all that stuff when people go to search it. So he's going to actually literally be out there saying the things that we alleged that Trump said that he never said. And we're going to see how many people stick with us. It's literally like what they tried to do. Does Trump win or lose? I don't know. Who knows? What I do know is, guys, do not let it deter you from going out and voting. These maniacs, they just released a whole bunch of individuals that supported Trump, that they donated to him, businesses and things like that. Guys, that's the same thing we need to do to them. Like, the gloves have to come off for that stuff. Because locally they dox people, and then they have their little minions come out, whether it's Antifa or Black Lives Matter, and harassing, walking by people's homes. And we know it. We follow it. We know it. We know where they are. We know they do it because we watch them. We see them do it. We have the cameras on our homes. We have the cameras on our vehicles. We see when they do it. We see the vehicles they use over and over and over again and their license plates. We see that stuff. And how they use their government agencies to be weaponized against us. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Terry. Law enforcement, SLA, health department, tax department, assessor's office, inspector's office, how they weaponize all of these agencies against us. That's why they put this information out there. This person is for Trump. This business is for Trump. We have to have the people and the numbers to be able to do the same exact thing to them. Every business that supported a terrorist organization known as Black Lives Matter, founded by people who were convicted of crime after crime after crime because of what even after they were with BLM, supported by Antifa, the money being funneled into Antifa and the Democratic, their committee for all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars rolling in through Black Lives Matter. That was where they were laundering all of the donations through to the Democratic Party. And it's not right. Everything that happened, good morning, Linda, it's just not right. But until and unless we start getting people educated and informed who occupy these government offices, and we start getting them out, the people that are the leftists that refuse to operate the way it's supposed to be, it's going to continue to be this way, guys. Trump is the catalyst. Trump is the catalyst to inspire and motivate, but he can't operate on a local level. He can't do that. That's up to us. That's up to our groups to be inspired and motivated enough to come together to network, to use all of our resources and our skills to be able to tear down the establishment that is local here, that has been weaponized against all of us for so long. We're the ones that have to do that. At no point in our history, even the first few years of Trump's administration, even though he was telling us to do this, had we ever come together like we are now. Do you know how many times people tell me, Pete, I've never seen this before, where so many good people, conservatives, Republicans, independents, moderates, libertarians, Democrats, liberals have said, enough. We are done. We are done with you taking 50 to 60% of our salaries. And that's no lie, guys. Like, that is literally what they take from you, from me, every single year in taxes. If you're lucky, it's 50 to 60%. That means you work for free until June or July. But not to mention all the oppressive regulations that are out there that are unnecessary, that Trump has proven if they were gone. The country hasn't ignited on fire. All of the different regulations that he has eliminated that have helped immeasurable amounts of people and their businesses. Good morning, Rosalind. But we have to act. We have to do this stuff. Pete, well, why do you do this or why do you do that? Or, why is it so important to you? Why? Because, guys, what happens if we don't? If it is this bad, if it gets this fascist and tyrannical, and they're so willing to just outright say, we're taking it. We're taking your guns. We're taking your freedom of speech, like Facebook does, YouTube does, they all do. What happens when these leftist Marxists that are being trained in our schools take over and we're in our 60s and 70s? The Holocaust, because that's what it should be called right now, for the elderly, that's going to look like nothing. These leftist Marxists want the population down to, I forget how many people it is in the world. It's less than 1 billion people. That's literally what they say. That's what AOC is there, population reduction. Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, they all say population control. We got to bring it down. We got to bring it down. How do you think they're going to do that? How do you think they're going to get those numbers down? Like, this isn't conspiracy. These people have literally said these things on camera in front of their, the meetings that they have, the presentations, the seminars that they have. Literally said this stuff. If we don't fight and hold our ground right now and take it back and put it to where it's supposed to be and start fresh from that point, building the way it should be, allowing people to be free, to be happy, to be at peace, to pursue life, liberty, happiness, allowed to operate their businesses. Of course, with oversight, everybody needs oversight, and there needs to be rule and law. There needs to be that. But what do we see in our town? Law enforcement hasn't been doing anything for 7 months in so many communities. They've been told to stand down, not because they want to, but they've been told to stand down. And then the criminals, they're not even allowed to arrest the criminals. But, the fabric of our neighborhoods, like, nobody is really going out and just, killing and beating and assaulting and stealing and taking. Like, those have gone up. But good people aren't doing that. It's not falling into that despair and decay right now. It's not. Good morning, Courtney. It was great seeing you last night, and Matt. But that's not happening. So when we're allowed to be free and live our lives, the left says, well, you can't be trusted to do that. Are you serious? Excuse me. Sorry, guys. That came out. I couldn't avoid it. But, even with them standing down, the only people that are causing the chaos at this point are the far leftists, the Black Lives Matter, the Surges, Western New York Liberation Collective, One Society, Push. Oh God, if you guys know about what Push is doing, Push Buffalo has been pushing people who purchase their homes, their incomes, the income properties out of their homes and forcing them to do things. Now, Push, the original intent, I was like, okay, this is a great concept. This is a great idea. But now that has even been weaponized against good people. Would I call Push a terrorist? I wouldn't go that far. Surge, I would. Western New York Liberation Collective, I would. One Society is there. I know a lot of the members that are here locally, they believe in the things that they believe in are outright racist, flat out racism. And then Antifa, we know where they stand, and then local BLM, where they stand as well. Black people aren't a part of it. They don't want to be a part of it. They're like, we're done with this group. Yeah, we want everybody's lives, but they're like, my life was good before. I have a great job. I have a great family. I have a job. Yeah, okay, my buddy over here doesn't, but he doesn't do shit. He's gotten handouts his whole life. He could have chose the path that I did, but he chose not to. And I see white people and Asian people and Hispanic people and Haitian people all in the same boat. They have successful people and they have people that decided to do shit. And that's the way it goes. Oh, I'm going to end it on that. I appreciate seeing you guys. Today, believe it or not, I have a quiet day this evening. I think I do. So I'm going over to a friend's house for dinner. Renee and I, we get together. She's having dating struggles right now. Where are all the good guys? Are there any good guys out there, rich good guys, looking for a woman in her early 40s? A beautiful woman. She needs somebody. Message me if you guys are interested. She's looking to date somebody. She got out on like so many different dates. And she's like, oh my God, this guy. And guys, clean up your act, will you? Holy cow, just be a good dude. Man, it's not that tough. So many good women out there that just want a decent dude to date. Now I really got off tangent. But I love seeing you guys. I really do. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for everybody's support last night at Breathe Free New York. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys this Saturday. Those different events that I told you about. Go to freenys.com. You can take a look at that information there, but you can also go to Rally WNY on Facebook. That's where everything is kind of housed and centralized. So enjoy your days. I'm going to go eat some breakfast and enjoy the rest of my morning. Love you guys. Take care.